Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Sarah Crowder. I teach full-time theology for ninth graders at Faith Lutheran High School in Las Vegas, Nevada. I am also a full-time PhD student with Concordia Seminary, St. Louis. I'm studying Reformation history and I have some updates to share before we get to Thanksgiving break. So first of all, big question that I was asked yesterday by one of my colleagues. He wanted to know, what's the end goal of the PhD? Why would a ninth grade teacher even need a PhD? First answer is you don't need a PhD. But the second answer is that I've become very curious with a figure named Justus Jonas. He was a translator with Martin Luther in Wittenberg, and I wanted to tell more of his story, but a lot of his primary sources are still only in Latin and German. And I kept asking, how can I learn more about this? And a lot of people were recommending, check out the PhD program. That is questions that PhD students would be asking. And so I just became curious and I found that there is a program at Concordia Seminary that would fit well with my needs. I love working in classroom settings. I love having guided instruction. And so the PhD program at Concordia Seminary was really a perfect fit for me. Also, something I was really looking forward to is working with Dr. Kolb, and I've been able to do that. And we have regular meetups, and it's been like such a valuable thing for me. And so why am I doing the PhD? I'd like to tell these Reformation stories, and I want the tools to be able to access the information. And so this is why I'm pursuing this degree. I don't have a huge drive for like getting into a new career, but rather supplementing what I'm doing in the classroom with my knowledge and kind of this transformational experience of learning how to transmit the gospel from the 16th century in a way that is powerful for my students to today. So I just want to give a little update where I am in the program. Technically, I'm in my fourth year, and the program should look like this: 3 years of coursework, 1 year of comprehensive exams, and then 3 years for dissertation. So it's a 7 year program, and I'm in year 4. However, in the middle of my coursework, I was invited to do a really cool summer program called the Wittenberg Center for Reformation Studies. And I spent 2 weeks in Wittenberg and then a week in England traveling around to all the English Reformation sites. It was an amazing opportunity. But that summer, I wasn't able to commit to 3 weeks away and then 2 weeks in St. Louis. And so during that time, I only took one course in that term. And now today I'm in the other last piece of my coursework. It'll finish up in January. So I'm looking forward to the intensive session that I will have in January. So what's immediately in front of me is this. January is my intensives. And so for 2 weeks, I'm going to be in St. Louis taking my intensives where I will have 2 hours of just like talking about everything we've been reading for our course this term. I also have my comprehension exam for French. So there's 3 language required for my department: German, Latin. I have passed 80%, and I was really prepared for those because I had a class that I was taking to prepare for me to do well on that exam. But this year, I am preparing solo. And so I'm not solo, but like I am doing the work through a textbook. There's also a professor from Azusa Pacific who has all of the lecture materials to go through it. So I'm following along with those, doing the book, working on GimKit to just grind a lot of vocabulary. And so hopefully when it comes time in January, I will pass my French comprehension exam. This is a translating assignment, a translating test, where I'm not being asked to converse or anything in French or even talk in French or speak in French, but rather translate French into English. And so I'll be translating probably a theological article into English, and it's like a 2 hour exam. Right now, I'm also taking Reformation Humanism, and part A of this class is doing all sorts of readings and taking lots of reading notes. I'm averaging between 20 and 30 pages a week of reading notes. And then what's going to happen is when we get to class, we're going to be expected to show up ready to discuss the materials that we read. So you have to really understand them. So it's been a really fun, it's a really fun course. It's one of my favorite kind of courses to have. It's not like a lecture. You have to show up and be ready to kind of participate and contribute to the conversation. So after this, that's my last course, and I will be done with coursework and moving into phase 2, which is called comprehensive exams. So in my program for Reformation history, there's going to be over 90 books that I'm going to have to read in 12 months and prepare for a 3 hour oral examination with 3 other professors. So I will show up and have to be ready to talk about any of those 90 plus books, plus any book that I have been reading in preparation from the coursework. So it's quite a big task. And it's something that I'm being prepared for this next step in my PhD journey, but it is something that's going to be quite solitary in that I'm doing my book list and I will be doing my comprehensive exam on my own. But I'm not alone. I have you. I have so many people who are alongside me. And I just kind of wanted to share a little bit of why I'm here in the first place talking about what's happening with my PhD journey. Number one, I just wanted to share, like, thanks for being with me on this journey. If you're watching at this point of the video, I just really appreciate you taking the time to kind of encourage me and participate in what I'm going through. It's just really fun to kind of share my growth and share like what I've been working on. I get probably some of the most inspiration from my students, from my ninth graders, because when they're doing hard things and I'm doing hard things and we get to do them together, it makes it a more joyful time. So even though I am doing this as like a solo activity, I also have my classmates who I have been going through the PhD program with, and they are a source of support. I also have my faculty and professors at the seminary who will serve as support, and my very, very supportive family and my school, Faith Lutheran. But I also have communities like 1517 who do so much work in supporting me and giving me a microphone and a place to share my writing. I also have my connections with the Wittenberg Center of Reformation Studies, where I have a network of scholars that I can kind of run ideas by. And as a PhD student, it opens doors that I can send an email or have a conversation and ask people who are current in the scholarship, like, what their opinion is on something. And that's something I take a lot of joy in. So as I'm approaching the goal of passing my comprehensive exams, this will happen in December of 2026. So this is the goal, is to get through these 90 plus volumes of books, be ready to discuss them and have fun along the way. I even am using a little bit of a Shohei Ohtani kind of goal system. I got an email the other day about Shohei and how he in high school made this goal to be the number one draft pick from high school. And he had this one goal with 8 pillars. And so I'm developing my own kind of map for my one goal for next year, 2026, is to pass my comprehensive exam. And so I'm sharing this with you because you're here listening to me. And I just appreciate your support. And what that looks like is, liking videos and showing encouragement and kind of, when you send messages or ask how things are going, I'll try not to talk your ear off too much. But I just want to make this a joyful experience. And part of it that makes it fun for me is sharing it with my students and with my audience. And so you get to come alongside. I know for me as a scholar, I love watching other people post updates or share what they're doing on their journey to make it fun or make it work for them. And so this is part of the things that make me have joy, because honestly, the greatest joy I have is to share the good news of the gospel. The message from Ephesians 2, our memory verse for this week, that says, "For by grace you have been saved through faith. This is not your own doing. It is a gift of God, not a result of works, so that no one may boast." And when we think about the gift of salvation that we have in Christ Jesus, who came down, was incarnate, lived and died for you, and resurrected and gives us hope for our future. This is something beautiful, worth sharing. And I love to see how this unfolded in the 16th century with language understanding. And how do we share this message of the Bible in a way that people can understand? And that was the big trial of the 16th century. And I think it's our trial today, is how can we share this message in a way that is clear and connects with people? And so this is what I'm doing. So thank you so much for listening to my PhD update. I want you to know I really appreciate your support, and thanks for all the thumbs up. And if you have any words of encouragement, I will take them. But please look for updates on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube as I'm sharing my academic journey. But most of all, I want you to know I am so excited to learn more as I grow in this kind of hard season of comprehensive exams. I know that I can do it with joy if I can share it with people who I care about, and that includes you. So thank you so much, and I hope you have an awesome day.